Hey, Mr. Clash here, coming again with another little episode from Gauntlet Slayer Edition. And in this little edition, I will be playing the Wizard. And I'll be in campaign mode, and we will go in normal mode. And we will play the first room, Tombs of the Risen. And you'll get to see the special weapon change that I had made for the Wizard. Now, from the walkthrough, I'll just put a link up there to the initial overview and review so you get to see what he was like. I'll just put that up there now. You'll see what the Wizard was like. And now in this particular one, you'll get to see what I have done to him as far as his weapon goes. His main weapon, instead of his fire weapons, I've swapped them out for something different. That's why he's carrying that round energy ball around with him. So at the moment we're just waiting for the game to load. And here we go. Okay, we'll see how I fare against the power of the dead with the Wizard in normal mode. I have one skull coin at the moment, and of course you'll remember that a skull coin means I can revive myself. Now as you can see, his weapon is a rapid fire pulse of energy. And of course, there I am standing right next to a pot and I can't hit the pot. So yeah, it does take a little bit of aiming practice. The Wizard is of course the double stick character, so just so you can see how that goes. Now there is something extra quirky about this little beam of energy, and that is it, what was that one again? Okay, yeah, that's the push. The beam of energy does not destroy food. So yeah. Now what I do recommend is if you do play the Wizard, if you do get the game and you play the Wizard, I'll put a link to where you can get this game for like $1. No, I think this one's $2. Yeah, if you do get the game for like $2 or something, or if you get the game and you decide that you want to play the Wizard. Now the thing to remember is I'm playing on a gamepad controller, so it's a double stick character. Now what I do recommend in cases like this where there's not a lot going on and nothing really matters too much, just have a flick through the spells, and that way you get used to operating the different spells quickly, flicking from one to the other, just to see how you go. Oh, there we go. Didn't mean to do that. But you can see that the benefit of activating the spells, getting used to the spells, is now you will notice that the Wizard, as I said in the overview, he can't shoot and run at the same pace. So when he's shooting, he actually has to slow down. Like the elf, you do need to keep the Wizard moving, on the move all the time, unless he can get far enough away, and then he can just blast them a little bit like this, where he's got a little bit of lee room, he can play, then he can run away again, if he's faster than them, where he can run away, and of course he does have that. That's just to slow the enemy down a little bit more, give him a little bit of more breathing space if he needs to run, or just like I did there. A bit more breathing space so I can kill them easier. So that's how the Wizard, oh, see that? I am just playing with his spells, just to try and get used to quickly changing between the spells. And, okay. And how the spells also affect different enemies. So, okay. Now what I'll do with this guy is just simply freeze him. I'll freeze him until he just disintegrates. There we go. So, okay, back into the fire mode. Yeah, like I said, when he's doing these pulse energy pulse thing, look at that. He cannot destroy the food. Destroys everything else, but not the food, which is pretty handy. That means when you're this character, you cannot accidentally... Now what I do here on a room like this I can't see into, I just use his little... Oh, something was there. You saw how that flashed a little bit? Okay, so what I'm going to need is on those little brief moments when there's nothing much going on, just take a moment, Yeah, you know what? I'm going to release my extra guys that I have. As you can see, these are my duplicates of myself. Like mirror image wizards, they use the fire option as their weapon. And there we go. Just helps you take out the enemy better. You don't have to wait for them all the time because like the wizard has 9 spells to choose from. So you just make sure that you train in flicking between the different spells, and it just becomes really handy. So you can just run around and things like this, just blast a few out of the way, and then you can go blast them again. You can see that they give you a little bit of breathing room, the different spells. So that one just blasts the enemy away, out of my way. So once they're knocked down and out of the way, then I can just continue on and do whatever it is I wanted to do. And because the wizard can flick between the spells so quick, you need to train up, get him right so that you have an idea on how. So it's autopilot. So the spells are actually autopilot. Now see that I didn't press the spell correctly, so I lost the option there. I lost a little bit of time, and now I've got the big guys chasing me, and you can see that the wizard is faster than them. But that's how you see. Notice that I just got a bit of breathing room. There we go. I'll blow this guy up. And of course you can use different spells. Just use the chain lightning instead. You don't have to use the same weapons all the time while you're running away from the little baddies. You can just use different ones. So what I'll do here, I'll push him over. I'll drop my guys to help, and we should be able to take these out, this enemy out pretty quickly. So that you can see that is why you spend time in easy mode, learning to use the character. Oh no, I've blown up all the bombs. All of the bombs went off. Okay. Not that it matters because there's a self spawner there, so the bombs do spawn again. But that's why I suggest you play in easy mode and get your character upgraded so that when you hit the harder modes in this game, you've got the extra abilities and whatnot. Now, I don't like to use the food because you never know when you're going to be injured, and you might have to travel back through a few rooms to come back to the food. Of course, you do get rewards for killing the food. Now in this case what I'm doing here is if I can clear out some of the trash, just in case I need to run around through there. And okay, now I'm going to have to do a few things here. I'm going to have to throw that, change to that spell. So you've seen that what I've done is I've done a few things in very quick succession of each other. And I didn't get that summoning stone down, but that's alright. So I can I'll just keep on with these guys at the moment. They're not hassling me too much, and I'm not in too much danger, so I can just keep. Now they are a little bit weaker because I've just blasted them all, so they die much quicker from my pulse beam than they were. So I probably should get that summoning stone taken care of. Yeah, top priority, thanks mate. Yep, I'll get right on it. And running around. As you can see, that blast doesn't really kill them until what that means is I've had a lot more of them spawning because I haven't bothered killing them. But you can see that where that chain lightning, that's why I say get used to your different spells, because the chain lightning just took care of them all while I was running around. And of course it took care of the summoning stone as well. It breached from the one to the other.
The summoning stone must be destroyed.
Okay, we'll get onto that summoning stone in a second now. As soon as this big guy's down, I'll take it all out. So he's down. That summoning stone will be down in a second, and that'll be it. Yeah. So that's why I say to have a bit of a play with your spells. And oh, I've just activated my shield spell there. You'll notice how that was just sitting there, and I ran out of it. So you can actually use that as part of a strategy. Maybe if there's something coming through a doorway or a narrow gap or something like that, you can actually activate that shield and just place it in the doorway, and they won't be able to get through. And that'll allow you to either escape further or to... Oh, where am I going? I want to blow this up. Or just shoot them without fear of them getting to you. Okay, I've got another skull coin. I will grab another bomb because of what's coming up ahead. Now, when you first play with the wizard, trying to jump between spells is really, really difficult. You don't, because there are 9 spell combinations to go through, and I'm playing on the gamepad. So each spell is 2 button presses on the gamepad, and that means there's 9 combinations of spells, and you have to remember them all, and not only what spells are what, but also which buttons are required to activate which spells. So I'll just laser these guys, or it's not really a laser beam, but it's like a freeze beam. It's like just makes him go in really slow motion. And the other the thing with going from his spells from one spell to the other is that some of the spells have a cooldown period on them, so you can't use them in too much rapid succession, like one after the other. You can't use them. But when you go from one spell to the other, you can use them in that combination. So one spell's got a cooldown, so you just quickly flick to another spell and use that, whether that's to push the enemy away or freeze them in place or something, as long as it's giving you some breathing room to either wait for your additional ability reinforcements to come, or so you can use your favorite spell again to try and take them out. Now again, I'm not using the food because I don't want to... okay, now this might be interesting. Yeah, okay. Let's see if I can draw this other guy over. Oh, you know what? I'll use the lightning on him. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to want a freeze spell, I think, and then a fire, then my other spell, freeze spell, back over to here, back over to there, and there we go. So I'm not saying this is the best way to do it, but it's one way that... Oh dear, that's no good at all.
That's what I think of your...
Yeah, that's what you call real magic? Okay. Okay, so what happened there was my extra helpers actually decided to break the boxes. So what that meant was the boxes over to the other summoning stone were broken. So I had to do something very quickly to try and stop. So I was basically getting all the enemy from 3 summoning stones coming at me at the one time. So this guy's just waiting there. So now I can come closer to the summoning stone. I've got another one of those yellow guys. He'll throw something at me in a minute. Or he's going to turn this bloke into a bomber. Yeah, okay, so there we go. This is under control. And you can see that the beauty of that wizard's rapid fire. Now it's less powerful than his fire weapon, but it's quicker and more rapid fire, so you can, and longer range. The longer range is really what benefits it tremendously. There we go. So again, I can't pick up any potions, but here's an example of the longer range that I have on that weapon. So as they're coming from the room, I'm just shooting them from the doorway, and they don't really have a chance to get to me. So like this guy here, by the time, yeah, see, he's dead like that. So I'll come into the room, I'll throw a freeze spell out, and that means anything that wants to get to me is going to have to go through the freeze spell now. So you can see that it's just another little added trick that you can use the wizard for. Use his spells. Okay, look, there's that guy not coming out from there. Another guy, this big mummy here, he takes a lot of shots to kill. And just blast him. You can see that, oh, he got me a bit then. And you can see how great the chain lightning works here. That while I'm running away, there's 3 guys, but I can just zap them once.
Impressive.
I just do one weapon and it gets the other guys. As long as it just leaps from one to the other, just like lightning might do, or arc electricity. And there we go. That is the, what was it called? Tombs of the Risen. The first mission, I guess you'd say, in the Gauntlet Slayer Edition in normal mode with the wizard. And I killed 467. And yeah, I got a crown bonus as well. So that is that. Tombs of the Risen is done. And the next one will be the Catacombs, and we will do that in the next edition. So at the moment, we will say bye for now. Thank you for watching. If you're, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I will see you in the next video.